DSP Shows is based in Ithaca, New York and Northampton, Mass. It's one of the leading independent concert promoters in America and has been recognized as one of the top 100 promoters in the world by trade magazine Pollstar. The company produces over 600 shows a year in venues throughout upstate New York and New England, including the Academy of Music Theater in Northampton, the Pines Theater at Look Park, House Brewing Company, the Drake, and many others. The company was founded in 2008 as Dan Smalls Presents and became DSP Shows in 2015 with the addition of partner and talent buyer John Sanders. Prior to DSP, Sanders spent 15 years with Iron Horse Entertainment Group, where he booked and promoted thousands of shows at the Iron Horse, Calvin Theater, Pearl Street Nightclub, and Mountain Park. Last October, Signature Sounds Presents announced the sale of the Green River Festival to DSP Shows, and this year will mark the 37th Green River Festival, to be held at the Franklin County Fairgrounds June 21st through the 23rd. With headliners such as Cake, Fleet Foxes, and Gregory Alan Isaacoff, DSP intends to carry on the tradition of this beloved event. And with John Sanders and his love for music in this area, we can be confident that the festival is in good hands. So welcome, John Sanders of DSP Shows. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Everybody wants to know, thousands of Green River Festival fans want to know, what can we expect from the 2024 Green River Festival?
As you know, this is my first year producing the festival after Jim Olson has produced it for the last 10 plus years. Before that, it was the Franklin County Chamber of Commerce event that Jim was involved in programming for a long time. So the first year I produced it, we booked a lineup that I'm very proud of and that people seem very excited about. So I think we're going to have a killer lineup of world-class music and a beautiful setting at the Franklin County Fairgrounds that we're working hand in hand with them to make sure that everything is going to be comfortable for everyone, and I think it's a great place. There's a lot of infrastructure. There's a lot of water there. A lot of free water at the Green River Festival to keep you hydrated, and really we want to sort of step up a little bit on some of the amenities that we're providing at the festival, but really just not mess with the vibe of what has become like a really laid back, chill, family oriented festival where you can go and have a great time, see some incredible music, and have it be pretty laid back.
Well, you passed the first test. You're familiar with the history. and it seems like you understand the details and all the planning that was put into it by Jim Olson. And it's always been my favorite festival. It's just the right size. It's got nationally known, internationally known artists as well as local bands and artists. It's really a perfect family friendly event.
And I've been going to the Green River Festival. I think 2001 was probably the first festival that I went to. So I have a lot of experience. I probably went to it for a dozen years or so while I lived in Western Mass. I've sort of been traveling the country, following my wife around with her career while still promoting shows in the Northeast. But my family now, I have a 7-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, have been to two Green River festivals themselves as well. So it's certainly something that the family programming and the entertainment for all ages is certainly something that we want to lean into and keep going. We've also leaned into the world music, the global arts of the festival, and really tried to diversify the lineup and lean into artists who are not from this country and who bring a different perspective. I think that the festival has done a good job of that, and I think we kind of doubled down this year with our headliners on the Dean's Bean stage, on the second stage with Seema Funk on Friday night and MD Mokhtar on Saturday, and Dr. Brock on Sunday, along with Someone Paper and Pachiman and Dobet Nahore and Kombucha Bita. I feel like we've that was something that I really wanted to expand upon in the festival, and I'm really excited about that as well.
I after last year's festival, it was put out on socials, who do you want to see next year? And it seems like a lot of the artists I recommended are going to be on the lineup for this year. So it's good. At least everybody's, thinking in line with me and the bands I like.
Who are you recommending from that you want to see?
I saw Son Rampa Opera last year. They were just amazing.
Yeah, I saw them in Austin last year at South by Southwest, and it was out of control. It was a really great scene. There's not a whole lot of marimba rock and roll bands out there, and I had an experience once when I was visiting my wife, who was living in Guatemala for a time, and we went to a marimba band show in an old airport hangar in Guatemala, and it was one of the more interesting live music experiences that I've ever had before. So yeah, Summer in Paris sort of takes me back to that because just that seeing a marimba band doing punk rock is not something I've ever seen before.
I mean, there's a great wide variety of music here. There's artists here that you can chill to. You go sit in the Shady Grove area and relax, or you can get up and dance. It's like bands like Son Papera that just you can't help but dance, even if you don't like dancing. You're up there moving your butt.
Yeah, I think we really wanted to try and take that Dean's Bean stage and make that certainly a high energy stage. And it's not all global music there. There's certainly a mix of things, but we wanted it to be a stage where mostly it would sort of be a lot of high energy stuff and get people moving. It's a really like a lot of folks say that that's their favorite stage at the festival and that's their favorite vibe, and we want to kind of keep that going for the
That's good.
festival this year.
You're definitely paying attention to the details. From what I've read about Dan Smalls presents, um, he seems to really value relationships with the artists, with the venues, with the fans, and making the effort to network and meet people's expectations in an age where some executives may look for ways to cut back. Dan seems to go the extra mile, and it really makes the difference for everybody, I think. Is Dan Smalls kind of the Jimmy Koplik and Bill Graham of the 21st century?
Dan is my partner and we started this company. Dan started the company in 2008 and I became his partner in 2015. And together we've built this company to 10 times what it was, back then. And so I think that our vision is certainly a little different from the folks that we grew up working for in the business. Both Dan and I have worked in the business for a long time, for other folks, and in a lot of ways learned what to do, but also what not to do. And I think that really, I think that's why I wanted to, Dan and I started working together is because we had a similar vision as to what it takes to be successful in the concert industry in the 21st century is a little bit different than it was in the 19th century. I'm not someone who picks up the phone and screams at somebody when something goes wrong or someone doesn't sell me a show that I want to do. I think that's a pretty old school kind of trait that I think has sort of gone by the wayside. Not to say that people don't pick up the phone and scream at me sometimes, but but it's not. I feel like we've learned that if you take care of people, even if it costs a little bit more money, to do that in the long run, it really comes back and pays for itself. And so that's sort of a mantra. We're certainly not out there throwing money around because we are independent promoters and we it's a treacherous world out there for everybody. It's an interesting business and business model, but I have a 25-year history of now doing this in Western Massachusetts and New England, and Dan has been doing it since 2008, and before that in some other spots as well. So I think that we have a long track record of relationships that we've built and continue to build, and and that has shown through in the people that we work with and the venues that we work in. We have venues from Buffalo to Portsmouth and everywhere in between. And I think if you go on our website right now, we've got shows on sale in probably 25 to 30 different venues. We're doing 700 or 800 shows a year, and we've got it's not just Dan, it's not just me that are making that happen. We have a team of people who also are sort of spread out throughout the Northeast. With remote working is something that sort of came in vogue in the pandemic, but I've been working from home since 2011. But so, I don't know if that answers your question. I feel like I've been talking for a long time, but
You've given us a great background on. I also kind of wanted to learn the background of how the operation works. For the longest time, I thought that venues always did the work to get the artists themselves. But can you briefly explain how that works in these days?
Some venues do that. We have relationships with many venues. Some where we're the exclusive talent buyer, where we're putting all of the shows in the rooms. We do stuff like that for Levon Helm Studios in Woodstock and 3S Art Space in Portsmouth. There are other rooms like the Academy of Music in Northampton that are technically open rooms, but we do most of the popular music stuff that happens in those rooms. And in that scenario, we're renting the theater from the city who owns it and presenting the shows there. And there are others, we have a lot of different relationships with a lot of different venues in those ways. But so there's no cookie cutter approach. It's whatever works for the venue and what they're looking for and what we're able to provide and what works within our business model as well.
So for Green River Festival 2024 is going to be at the same location on the fairgrounds. Basically the same setup. You're going to have a main stage, the Dean Bean stage, and then maybe another smaller side stage off in the shade.
There are 4 stages. Historically, last year there were 4 stages at the festival at the fairgrounds. There's the main stage, which is on the infield of the track of the horse track. The Dean's Bean stage is in sort of the Shady Grove area on the other side of the midway. The back porch stage is in the show ring, which is sort of up by the front gate, by the entrance of it. That is the back porch stage. That's sort of like a Americana stage. And last year there was the greenhouse stage, which was outside in that Shady Grove area. And this year we've decided to not do that stage, but to actually activate the roundhouse, which is this historic building, historic round barn, right as you walk in the front entrance, will be our 4th stage this year. And there'll be music throughout the day on all weekends in the roundhouse as our 4th stage.
That's great. In case it's a hot or a rainy day, people can go in there, listen to the music, and escape the elements if needed.
Yeah, and I think it's such a cool building. It's such an iconic building at the fairgrounds that when I walked in here, I was like, we have to activate the space and for music in here. And I'm excited to see how that's going to turn out. We're gonna climate control the space as well, so that in the middle of summer it's not too hot to do something in there.
I remember a few years ago, it was super hot, and there was like just very hot the entire festival. And the next year, they put out some hoses and connected it to the faucets and just ran it like sprinklers in the open area so people can just run through and cool off real quick. You're going to be paying attention to like small details like that?
Absolutely. I think that first of all, heat is a health safety issue for a festival of this size with this many people, and our number one priority is that everyone comes to the festival and has a good time and stays safe. And so certainly heat and access to water is a number one issue with the outdoor festivals in the summertime. So we'll have a misting tent next to the first aid station for folks to hang out and stay cool by. We'll have some shady areas, some tents set up around the festival grounds where people can catch some shade and rest a little bit. And I for one know that my 7-year-old loved running through the sprinkler as much as anything she did at the festival last year. So finding some strategic places to place those where they will allow folks to cool off and not interfere with other folks' ability to enjoy the festival is something we'll do as well.
It's a great experience, and like we said already, for a family, there's plenty to do. Multiple stages. There's lots of vendors. There's lots of food vendors, and an amazing time every time I go. I love it. I'm looking forward to this year. The headliner is going to be Cake, Fleet Foxes, and Gregory Alan Isakov. I've seen Gregory Alan Isakov. He's amazing. Cake, I've always wanted to see. I'm finally going to be able to check that off my bucket list. um, so tickets are still available, I believe, right? And
Tickets are still available, yeah.
there's
Greenriverfestival.com.
there's still camping, VIP packages that.
Yeah, so we've got 3-day passes, we've got single-day passes on sale. We are very low on camping. We're actually sending out a low ticket warning on camping. I imagine that's probably going to sell out within the week. So if you want to grab a camping spot on site, now is the time to make that happen. We do have VIP upgrades available for 1, 2, or 3 days, and that gives you access to a VIP viewing area with some air-conditioned private bathrooms, a private bar, and just a space that you can get close to the festival, have a little shade, a little comfy upgrade for folks who are looking for that kind of experience for the festival.
I did that the past couple of years, and it's definitely worth it. Just to get into that shady tent for a little while and get some respite. And the hostess there was amazing, very accommodating.
Great. Yeah, and the family entertainment, we've got a puppet show happening in the Roundhouse on Saturday morning. We've got some family music happening in the Roundhouse for on Saturday and Sunday mornings. The Art Garden, which is a not-for-profit art space in Shelburne Falls, Massachusetts, is coming to set up a space where everyone is welcome to come and create art on the festival site. We've got the annual parade that happens on Saturday evening, where a band, this year it's Snack Time, who is this awesome band from Philadelphia, are going to lead after their set on the Dean to Bean stage. They're going to come over and lead the parade through the parade ground, and it's always a hit for children of all ages to make some puppets and march around singing songs and doing a parade Mardi Gras style around the festival ground. So that's a tradition that we'll continue to do as well.
Definitely a fun time for all. And I think whenever I talk to people, they always seem to have a negative view of festivals. And I think it's because they're looking at the big ones like Bonnaroo and the Burning Man and stuff like that, where it's really not family friendly, whereas Green River Festival always has been family friendly.
As someone with a family, I want to expose my children to as much live music as possible. It's really hard to do that during the school year, now, because shows start at 8 o'clock and that's my kids' bedtime. So really the summer is the time to be able to get them out and expose them to and have them see live music, and festival setting is a great way to do that. And I think that, if you're sort of an adventurous parent, it's pretty easy to do a festival. It's a long day and can be exhausting, but it's so worth it. And the kids have so much fun. And there's so many things for them to do at the festival, not only to dance and listen to music, but to create art themselves, to experience the puppet show, to march around. It's just a great environment for kids to have a great time in. And I would recommend it to any families who might be on the fence that the Green River Festival is a great day for families. And this year we've actually increased the age of where children are able to come in for free. So 12 and under are free for the festival this year. So we encourage families to come out because we think it's a great time, and we're doing everything we can to make it accessible to folks of all ages.
Excellent. Well, John, thank you very much for taking some time with me. And I look forward to seeing you at the Green River Festival. It's June 21st, 22nd, 23rd.
June 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Music on Friday from 4 o'clock to 11, on Saturday from 12 to 11, and on Sunday from 12 to 9 o'clock. And tickets are on sale at greenriverfestival.com.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Mark. Have a great day.